Welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit, a platform where we have invited Spirit to share messages, healings, and transmissions with all of us. May this energetic experience help us to expand our awareness and to deepen the relationship we have with our higher self, our spiritual team, and with Source, however we define them. Thank you for being here and for taking part in this amazing journey. Hello and welcome to the Channeling Spirit Virtual Summit. My name is Daniel Martinez Stahl. This is season 7 and we are in episode 9 with Heidi Sue. Heidi Sue has been with us a couple times before, so it's always great to have her back. As always, I will let you introduce yourself, Heidi Sue, and then we can kind of go from there.
Okay, thank you, Daniel. Hi, everyone. So I am Heidi Sue.
Here.
Oh, doesn't okay. Hi, and I was living life just like the rest of all of us here, and recognizing there's something more than what I'm seeing here. There's something to what I'm feeling, and I'm hearing things, and so learning to take those life challenges and seeing the avenues through those life challenges that opens up the doors for more opportunities and more ways of communication. And so I do work in a hospital setting, and it was very fascinating to me to have a very special physician who was actually a heart surgeon, believe it or not. He was a cardiac surgeon, come into the space where I was working. And I was looking at this person thinking, what am I seeing? Am I just like, what am I seeing? And it was one of those moments as I was learning to develop my intuition further, I recognized it was a mass of previous patients and energies just weighing on this person as he was walking in, and his shoulders were hunched, and I could just see the mass. And it was like, wow, I thought I was going crazy, but come to find out, he ended up retiring very early on, just overwhelmed by those energies. And it made me realize that a lot of us have these experiences day in and day out, and we take a bath, we brush our teeth, but what are we doing to cleanse our energetic containers? And sometimes we get overwhelmed with all of those energies. And so I learned those techniques as well. And that's where I like to help people just come back to their own true self, to discover the spark of where they came from, which is divine unconditional love. And so that's my story about why I'm here. And then I was introduced to Daniel when I realized I do have a team of heart healers that I work with, and they are beings from previous time, other dimension. And that's where I love this opportunity, because sometimes I feel shy about talking to people. Oh, well, the heart healers say this, but in this avenue, in this capacity with Daniel, you actually open up the doors so that the heart healers can come through with the messages. They're not my messages, they're the heart healers' messages tailored for you, whatever you're going with in this situation right now. And so that's how I'm here. So thank you, Daniel.
Perfect.
For
Beautiful.
the voice.
And so the heart healers are welcome. One thing that I'd like to just kind of mention, cleansing energy. There's a lot of kind of talk about this, and I am reminded by Spirit regularly that it's really important for us to cleanse our energy, because we pick up things along the way that isn't ours, and this is how energy works. It kind of, it's they're like leeches, you know, when you're walking through the woods, and leeches just kind of, you know, they sense the body heat, and they just kind of latch on and go along for the ride. And then eventually they drop off if we don't take them off ourselves. But energy gets caught in our field all the time. And it's really important for us on a regular basis, however regular that is for you, to be conscious of, you know what, I'm just going to release everything and just kind of, come back to my center, come back to my wholeness. And I tend to do it every night before I go to bed, even if it's really, really quick. I have a walking stick that I use to help me as a tool to help me connect and ground with Mother Earth. And so I hold on to the stick. And as soon as I get into my position, standing with the stick in my hand like a broadsword, I feel this wave literally go through me from top to bottom. And then I go through whatever little kind of ideas or meditations or thoughts that I want to kind of focus on. And then I put my stick against the wall and I go to bed. And I know people that will do it. They'll cleanse their energy when they wake up and when they're about to go to sleep, because it requires a different energy when you're asleep than when you're awake. And so they like to start the day by cleansing their energy and kind of grounding and centering. And then they finish their day by cleansing their energy and getting ready to go to sleep. So it's a really nice reminder for us to play with energy and to allow ourselves to come back to our wholeness without other energies that are coming along for the ride without our intention.
All those freeloaders. Actually, thank you, Danielle. Thank you for sharing your technique. I'm always intrigued with technique. There's salt bath, there's visualization, just walk in nature. I love Anna Marie, just picking up rock, holding rock, gemstone, so many different things, even color therapy, just wrapping yourself in a color. But I love that stick technique that you shared because it's very powerful. And as you were mentioning it, I can just see and feel the energy. There's something very special about that stick you're using as well. And I guess over time, it had built up, this is its purpose, right? I'm being called forth. And once it's in your hand, the transmutation already starts happening, doesn't it?
A friend of mine was channeling their team and we were in conversation and they said to me, when you hold on to your grounding stick at night, we're going to send you a transmission. And I normally feel the energy, like I say, top to bottom. And that night, when I held on to my stick, I felt this energy come up through the ground. And I almost never feel it come up. It's almost always down. But they referred to it as my grounding stick. And I was like, oh, I like that as a name. And so a lot of people will talk about how, when you wear rubber on your feet, that you need to be, it's better if you're barefoot on the ground and connecting with the earth directly. And, in the wintertime, it's cold. I'm not going to go barefoot on a hardwood floor. And so I decided that I wanted to have something from nature that I could hold on to, that I could connect directly to the floor, that's connected to the earth. Even if I'm on a different floor on a building, the building's connected to the earth. And so I can imagine that direct lineage of energy flowing from my floor directly to the earth through my hands, through the stick, so that I can wear socks and shoes or slippers and not feel like this energy is being blocked or inhibited in some way. And so that's the reason that I decided to play with that. What's really important for me to kind of add to this is I'm not a big fan of techniques and exercises. I'm a big fan of doing what feels right for you to do.
Yeah.
And so really align yourself and follow what inspires you to do in terms of, cleansing energy. And again, exercise that I play with is, somebody once taught me the hula hoop method, which is you imagine a hula hoop that goes through your energy field from top to bottom. And as it goes through, it cleanses the energy. And so you can use whatever visualization, putting yourself into a sphere of white loving light and allowing that light to grow from the inside of your core and pushing everything outside of you so that it goes back out into the universe and so that it's not within your field anymore, is something that I used to do when I was a child. And so there's a lot of things that we can do about cleansing our energy and there's a lot of visualizations and a lot of techniques and exercises, but I'm a big fan of just doing what feels right for you, and not to feel like it's happening because of the technique. The technique is only supporting what's happening with your intention. Like we were talking in the last call, it's the intention that does it. The technique just amplifies it or makes it seem more real, but it's just a perception. When I grab my stick, it's not the stick that's giving me the power. It's not the stick that's grounding me, but it's this perceptual intention that I've given to it as a ceremony. And then that ceremony amplifies itself because I'm giving that ceremony meaning. Again, I'm the one that's giving it meaning, and I'm the one that's amplifying it because of my intention. And the use of the stick is just a representation of that ceremonial experience.
And the more you do it as a ceremony, as a ritual, the more it builds up. And I'm like you, I just do what's right. But when people said that to me originally, I felt lost. I'm like, well, I need direction. I need something. I need instruction. I needed some kind of guidance. So the technique help instill confidence. And then the more I practice, like you said, I make it a ceremony of it, do it on a regular basis, then you're able to bring your own flavor, the way you are uniquely and beautifully designed from the single soul source. You have your own strength and your way of doing things, that when you can add on to the technique. Somebody was talking to me about light, pillars of light, and I'm thinking, okay, pillars of light. And it wasn't until one day I was in a meeting and I thought, you know what? I'm going to try this little experiment. And I was thinking this, and I should have been paying attention to what was being said in the meeting, but my mind, something was saying, I thought, I'm going to take pillars of light and put them in the four corners of this space and then bring them all together and encircle us all and ground it into the earth. That just happened one day on its own because I had learned the technique with practicing and playing with it. And now I do this on a regular basis whenever there's a big group meeting or a small session where I feel like, the conversation could be improved, increase clarity and harmony. I just automatically do that. So, yeah. So today I wanted to talk about strategic surrender. And what I mean by strategic surrender is to acknowledge those moments where we have a block. We heard an Anna Maria call where Daniel said that everything is love, and we're our own nuances to energies. And so there's a difference. There's a difference between learning to trust and learning to distinguish. And I'll explain that. So you will have an opportunity for live readings with me to reveal what is your biggest block. But I'd like to start out with a question. And with this question, I would love for you to fill in the blank, if you will. So the question is, when will I be now, as many of you may be thinking, there may be different answers. It could be filled in so many ways. When will I be healthy? When will I be cured? When will I be in my amazing new home? When can I do my purpose work? When will I be a millionaire? When will I be debt-free? Or when will I be loved, cherished, honored, respected? And so I want to focus on the romance part, but the resistance, whatever we feel the resistance disguised as want, when will I be, that kind of a wanting energy there. Those are our biggest blocks to achieving what our true heart desires are. And even many of us have learned we have to change our thinking, change our word, change the vocabulary, reframe our spoken word and thought to remove that want essence. It's still insidious. It's still always there. Those energies still remain and support the blocks, keeping you from achieving your desired purpose, your desired intention. some people will pray, and some people will use any one of those other manifesting techniques or cleansing, clearing. But whatever the method is used, there's an element of faith. Faith is knowing that there will be an accomplishment, even if you can't see. So within the ultimate creation manifesting process, there are always 3 potential responses to every desire. And those 3 responses are yes. The second one is not now. And the third one is, I love you too much to give you that. The universe always has your back. And so I know it's interesting, this whole idea of faith, but sometimes we're just like, oh, I've been working on this for so long. When will this happen? So I would like to share a personal relationship story which helped me get to the point where there is a difference between trusting and distinguishing. So I had a client who had one of these, when will I be in a loving relationship? And this particular client was in a good marriage, a dynamic, exciting marriage. They were together for a while and they had kids. And then, as with any relationship, things start to come up that need to be worked on. There's a reason why you have that relationship. And the reason is something within you, something within them. There is an agreement to work on whatever the issue is that you are here for. And so this particular situation where alcoholism came into play, ended up having to leave, and then was having a series of cycles of relationship. And so it was a vicious cycle of where she just had enough, would try again, please, I'll be okay, come back, trust would be broken. And it just a vicious cycle repeats itself. And so they ended up separating. And this particular client was in the process of regaining her own confidence, rebuilding her independent life. And she was using a lot of different emotional healing techniques, as some of us do. We use the same one, or we just tried to dabble in different ones. And that one worked great. Now I need to try a different one, those kind of things. And she was learning to trust again and started dating again. But there is a component where there's a grief process. And within that grief process, it has to be honored. You can't just bypass it and just start into a new relationship without recognizing what is it that I need to shift within me. But there was a moment where she had a new potential mate. And this suitor was so excited and they were quite smitten with each other. And unfortunately, my client became very hopeful and really wanted to trust in her new suitor. She wasn't listening to those red flags. And she ended up having a situation where it really went off on a tangent where they are not together. And she just confided in me, I feel so stupid. She was so embarrassed, didn't want to go back to her workplace. And she actually said the phrase, I feel stupid. And she didn't want to face her friends and colleagues. So the feeling stupid part was actually a series of humiliation energies projected onto her. It wasn't hers herself. It was an unfortunate situation, but there was a third party involved. And so that humiliation energies were maliciously projected onto her by the one that was jealous of the new relationship. So this is where distinguishing comes into play. It's a distinguishing of thoughts and feelings that are not truly yours. And a lot of times we don't remember that what we're thinking is not always ours. And so we had to unravel those, release those, and then we had to reveal her heart space truth. And again, with the heart healers, we looked into her truth. And what was discovered is that it wasn't a matter of her having to listen and to trust people again. She had many similar experiences, and she created and believed her own story that she could not trust anyone. But that wasn't what her heart space was aiming for. Her heart space was to how to learn to distinguish her own divine truth from the human hopefulness. The emphasis is distinguish. While one may say they need to learn how to trust their own intuition, but in this particular client situation, it wasn't a lesson of trusting. It was to distinguish between the sense of hopefulness over the sense of knowing that they need to learn to trust again, versus the timing of when to trust, and distinguishing the sensation of absolute divine truth from the human hopefulness. I mean, how many times have we all said, well, I know I need to trust because that's what I'm supposed to be doing, but the timing just isn't right. And so that's where I'm at, is I'd love for you to settle with that notion. Am I trusting myself, or am I trusting or distinguishing what is the right time, what is the right emotion, or what is the right position to be in for myself, and how to listen to my own heart? Any thoughts on that?
Part of what we are playing with in this whole expansion is developing our discernment and our recognition, our sensitivity to energy. And what resonates with me as Heidi Sue's talking is this ability for us to follow the energy. What feels right, what doesn't feel right, not what feels good or what doesn't feel good, but what feels aligned with us and what doesn't feel aligned with us. And this aspect of developing that sensitivity and developing that discernment is an intuitive part of who we are. And that's what I really resonate with, is this invitation to follow the energy more and more, and to be conscious of it, and to develop that skill set with more sensitivity and more awareness. So, how does the heart healers feel about turning them over to the speaker, to the listeners?
They love to contribute. They love to do that. So if you would like a reading, the question is basically, what is my biggest block? You don't have to go into detail. In fact, less details is better. That the heart healer will just come right out with whatever's coming out. So if you would like a reading, go ahead and either put in the chat or raise your hand. I'll let Daniel facilitate. But what is the biggest block my heart space is revealing to me in this moment?
So I'm going to put a little kink in this a little bit.
Okay.
D says something here, which is, first, you must know self, so that any time words or thoughts that come into your head, you know right away it's not yours. And again, this is part of, learning to be an energy sensitive, learning to be an empath, or learning how to function effectively as an empath, where you are feeling and receiving a lot of energy that isn't your own, is something that we're all learning. And we can learn to do it, better and better, or more effectively, more efficiently. So thank you, Dee, for sharing that. Totally agree with you. The one thing, the little kink that I would love to do is I would love to have the heart healers give us a message before we do readings. Is that something they can do?
Yes. And you picked right up on it. So we'd like to get us all into that space and welcome each other and introduce each other. So thank you for that. So I invite you to go ahead and just settle into your space. Take a nice deep breath in. And imagine a door in the front of your heart space. So go ahead and open up that door. Step across the threshold, closing the door behind you. This is your sacred space. You can come here anytime that you need to. So go ahead and make your way further back into your sacred heart space. And now the heart healers They are here, and they are willing to acknowledge, and they want to say, first of all, they want to say thank you. And they also say it's been a long time. They appreciate the open forum. And so we're going to treat this as an open forum of the heart space for all of us to take in those energies and the messages to help us come back into the heart space, and also to recognize things are not always what they appear. And they're also talking about, they're actually showing a light. So there's something right now in this time where light is especially helpful. No matter where you are in the world, there's an immersion of light. So just pay particular attention to light as you see refractions of light. So if you imagine a gemstone is sparkling and shining, they want you to notice those little lights. That's how your heart is. Your heart is showing all these little pieces of different facets in different directions. And that's why it looks so radiant, so brilliant. And each one of those little light surfaces is a healing essence of its own. So if you have a moment, you're concerned or worried, just focus the little shards of light. It's up to you if you want to do individual pieces or group them all together to just shine your light. So it is your heart light. You always have this spark within you. It does not go away. And what else, one final message they're wanting to show is the sun is always shining. So even if it's a very cloudy day, you cannot see the sunshine, the sun is up there shining. So just because you cannot see the sun does not mean it's not shining. It is shining. And that ties in with faith and the reassurance. Your heart light is always, always, always on, no matter what is happening in the world around you and within yourself. Okay. Okay, so
Beautiful. So I didn't notice who raised hands and who put things in the chat in a chronological order. So I apologize that I'm going to kind of do my best and bounce around back and forth. So let's start with Cheryl, who would love to have a reading.
Hey, Cheryl. Okay, Cheryl, I'm tuning in with you with your permission. Yeah, I love that I'm getting all the tingles and energies. And so right away, Cheryl, I'm seeing it's an essence of sweetness, but it's also an essence of sweetness that's being hidden. It's in disguise. So give me a moment here. So I'm getting an image. Okay, so I'm speaking as me. It's coming from the heart healer, so it may not make sense to me, and it doesn't, but I'm just going to put this out there. So what I'm seeing is a dandelion, but then the dandelion is, growing into where it becomes that delightful puffball where little kids will blow on it and it scatters everywhere. And then there's this feeling of, don't do that. Don't do that. It's like being held back, but I want to be playful and I'm sweet, but having to hide my true self. You are sweet. You have an essence that's very, very engaging, very sweet. And so what it is the idea of having to hide your childlike self, but it doesn't want you to hide that. The heart healers are reminding you that bees come to honey. They make the honey. So you might have a lot of essence of little challenging tidbits of energy coming to you. Allow that, even if they're telling you not to do your true self, be in your true self, and keep imagining blowing that little puffball and sending out those little energy charge out of your sweetness. So your heart light actually has the ability to send out, it's almost like little sugar cubes coming out. And That's you. You have this sweetness, and it's okay if people don't recognize it. Just stay in that and just keep going along that path. And when you feel challenged, taking a look at that dandelion, somebody might think it's a weed, but oh my gosh, it is so much fun to play with when it's in its next state. So that's for you.
Beautiful. And the next person is Barbara R. And just so you guys know, I'm not going to invite you to lower your microphone. We're just going to do kind of readings for now. And then if you want to, come in afterwards, if we've got time to do a back and forth, that will be fantastic. But I'd like to just leave Heidi Sue connected with the heart healers for them to share their message with you guys. And I'm just going to, kind of direct that. So the next one is Barbara R.
Okay, Barbara, tuning in with you. I'm seeing a dog. I'm seeing a bunch of dogs. I get the sense these are dogs from past life. So let's see the heart healers. So the heart healers are saying that you are a reservoir of love, and all of these dogs that you have known or met or loved, they have a piece of your heart. You're not forgotten. It's typical that humans remember those who have passed on, but these are the animal friends who have passed on. They're remembering you. They're reassuring you that they're still with you. And they've actually have a lot of other canine companions with them that they're bringing in to introduce you. It's like you've had such a huge impact on them that they're bringing their friends they're meeting on the other side to come meet you and see you and witness you and your work and your loving essence. There is a challenge happening in your daily life right now, and it is showing that it will pass and it's fine, but I'm getting the sense of bare teeth. So it's not smile gently. It's a feeling of being assertive. And if you need to think of do not act this out loud or in person, but imagine yourself as the energies of these dogs who just bare their teeth gently to say, this is my boundary. This is the hard stop rule right here. It has to do with your voice. Your voice is not coming through, but you don't need to say anything. You just need to visualize that bare tooth. This is my boundary, and this will actually resolve on its own. There's nothing else you need to do, but just recognize that you are loved by so many canines on all levels. So I don't know if you're picking up a new dog or if you've got a dog that's helping you, but you've got multiple canine companions supporting you energetically.
Beautiful. Okay. So the next one is Karen.
Okay, Karen. Tuning in with you, Karen. Wow. Right away, I see a giant amethyst stone. It's just a huge, magnificent amethyst stone. And it's sparkling. And it's showing nuances of color. So it's showing that you have the ability to be multiple things at the same time. Not so much like a chameleon, but like the idea of a soft, light purple, and then right away at the same time, you're a deep, radiant purple within the same setting. So there's just something about the colors and your essence where it's actually, see, so you just keep sparkling, you keep shining. But what is it about the amethyst? It's clarity. Amethyst is coming through. So your presence, your ability to be multiple colors in the same setting is actually helping different people reach a level of clarity that they would not have had if they were not in your presence. So there's something significant about that whole idea, but it's giant. You have huge wisdom. Even if you're not aware of it yet, wisdom is flowing through you, and it's coming out in your heart space as a giant amethyst with all the different colors of purple. It's really unique. Some of it, it's a real pale blue purple, and some of it, it's a really deep, radiant violet. So just keep shining that light and know that your presence is helping people with clarity. It's a beautiful gift to have.
Next one is Maria on the iPhone.
Maria on the iPhone. Hey, tuning in with you, Maria. So right away, I get daisies, field of daisies, very playful, very playful. There's children involved. And yes, this is coming through. Yes, that is the right choice to make. What you're thinking of, you're trying to waver between two, and it has to do with the child or children or the industry. But the heart healers, they're showing that this is actually part of your purpose work, is working with children. But there's just one particular child that is calling your attention, and that is your catalyst for just being with and listening, and it's actually going to be the catalyst for your growth. And this is all in divine timing. And what you are hoping for will come to pass, will come to fruition. And it just showing that it's not right away, but because you're on this path with this work, with this child, and translate it to working with many, it will come through. It is what you want. And so no more doubt, have that faith, that choice you're thinking of is the right choice.
Beautiful. Next person is Barbara.
Hey, Barbara, tuning in with you. So Barbara, I see what's coming through. The heart healers are showing this magnificent gown, and it's like an evening gown, and there's a spotlight, but you just keep walking up to it, and then you walk around it. There's a shyness, a reticent. Is that the word reticent? I have a hard time with words. I can see the word. They want me to say it, but I have a hard time on my human side how to pronounce some of those words. Reticent. There's a reluctant, but reluctant wasn't the right word. It's just, I'm not sure I'm ready. And you are ready. Well, this is fun. The anticipation, you're delighting in the anticipation. And it's not just your own anticipation. You keep other people in suspense. They want to hear from you, and you're keeping them in suspense. You like the feeling of, and everyone, all of us do, we're all valued. But here, you're actually seeing and sensing, oh, this is a sign of a human valuing me. Whereas you're already valued. That doesn't even need to be included, because that's an automatic, and that goes for all of us. Thank you, Barbara, for bringing this up, because this is something that's coming up. Is sometimes we're seeking value from external sources, but it within us, we already have it, and we're already seen. And the heart healers are now showing that once you've stepped in, there's someone coming from the side to put this magnificent necklace on you. That's where it's completion for you, is to actually step in the spotlight. Whatever that spotlight is for you, it's a challenge, and it's something you're not sure you want. You know you want it, but you're not sure you want it. It's a dichotomy within the human ego situation here. So just imagine you with that beautiful evening gown on, and that beautiful necklace, that beautiful diamond, pure diamond necklace being placed on you. And just when you do a meditation, just close your eyes and see yourself, feel yourself, do all the senses with that sensation of being completely crowned with those jewels and with everyone just pouring their love out for you. So that's what the heart healers are showing. And I got a couple of them standing up. They're already in tuxedos. They appear to me in different clothing, but two of them are already in tuxedos waiting. So there you go.
It's beautiful. Mary Beth is next.
Hey, Mary Beth. Mary Beth. Tuning in with you, Mary Beth. So there's a health issue here. It looking like a left arm. There's something going on within the left arm. So just keep that. So it's an energetic essence of the left arm. So there's something you're trying to grab, hold on to, but it's not there for you. And then sometimes it's there for you, but you have a hard time lifting your arm to take what is there for you. And the left arm is very significant. The left arm is the feminine side. So it has to do with female relationship or feminine relationship. It could be, the divine feminine. So heart healers, this. Okay. So this is interesting. They're actually coming forward with a technique that they want to do. So I just want you to sit and just take a deep breath in. And just allow your arm to relax. And I've not seen this before, but they're actually injecting something in your left arm. And that should help with the alignment. And that'll help you with receiving. So what that is doing is actually opening up. And now you should be able to open up your palm. And this is very significant. I wasn't catching this in the beginning, but when you open up your left palm, that's the receiving hand. Our right hand is the giving hand. So you can imagine energy flowing through and coming out of your right hand to give out. The left hand is the receiving of energies and bringing into your heart. And you can actually, what this is doing, you can actually place a white light filter so that it's always receiving. But there's no need to filter. It's a human mind. I have to filter this. Everything that comes in is love anyway. So go ahead and just move with your arms. I see movement as being crucial for you to help with assimilating and being in your heart space, especially with your left hand, your left arm. Thank you.
D is the next one.
Okay. Tuning in with you. So, wow, I'm seeing cat, and I'm also seeing the word catalyst and cat. So there's a situation with cat. Is this an imagery, or let me check in here. It's the real deal. It has to do with the cat. And this cat does not believe it's a cat. It doesn't know it's a cat. And this cat actually is it's like a little Merlin, if you will, a little magician in a cat body. And this cat is here for you, has messages for you. And what I'm getting, and the heart healer just showing, is the cat is talking to you, is meowing, it's talking to you, but it's also talking to you within the other realms where you're actually not believing the cat. You're not believing your own, what you're hearing. You are hearing accurately. Coming through, you are hearing accurately, and this cat is a source of wisdom for you, and it has messages for you that is actually the answers to your question, to being of service with others, and also to helping with some subtle changes within your lifestyle. This cat is helping with those messages. Don't doubt those messages. They are real. They are accurate. And so the heart healers will come in and see if that expands the capacity to hear the cat's messages for you. And so there you have it. Okay.
Let's go to Carly next.
Hey, Colleen. Tuning in with you, with your permission in your heart. Okay, so Colleen, I am seeing a very young child. It's almost
Let me just jump in really quick.
Mm-hmm.
Heidi, I don't know if the name makes a difference, but it's Carly.
Carly, thank you. Thank you. It's still the same image. So yes, it's almost cartoonish. It's a little girl just crying, but it's very exaggerated, like the cartoon where you see the tears flying out 20 miles away. You know, they're just sitting there, and it's very exaggerated, and there's a little bit of residual grief going on, but it's at the point of being able to laugh. There's some good memories. There's been laughing, and we don't want that process to hold you back. The heart healers are showing this exaggeration of this child. So they're also showing that you are actually a comedian. So you have the gift of making other people laugh and giggle. There's a lightness about you, but there's a little shadow of like a grief or maybe a little bit of guilt in with that. So let's see how the heart healers. So they want you to acknowledge that you did have a small role in that, but it's gone. It's clearing. You've actually, they use the phrase karmic clearing. That coming through, but it's no longer yours. You can actually now release that. So there's a distinguishing. So bringing up the idea that when we go through our own emotional changes and pathways, sometimes we get an emotion that we are picking up someone else's and it's attached to ours and it seems bigger than it is. So part of it is yours, part of it is not yours. And that's that imagery that Daniel was alluding to. When we go for a walk, we end up with all these birds and things, stickers, what have you. So we'll clear those out. So that is something to acknowledge, that you don't have to keep holding on to it. You've released most of yours, and just continue releasing, but just showing a good crying jag is all you need. And when you're in the crying, to just go ahead and exaggerate it to the point where you just like, wow, this is hilarious. And you'll see that shift. And so that for you, Carly, that's just coming through, but also they keep chuckling because you have a side of you. I don't know if you're a stand-up comic or what, but you have a very funny side of you that is basically a light in this world that is needed. So hopefully you keep going with that.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Let's go to Cynthia.
Cynthia, okay. Coming in with your permission, Cynthia. Heart healers. Okay. So the heart healers are scrambling around, running around, but they were just in the position, they just got up and started running around, and now they're all lining up. And they're all lining up with their hand held out to you. And as you are walking through, so you get to choose. That's what's coming up. You are in the process of choosing. And you can't believe all these amazing choices that are coming through. This is coming in the very near future. If you're not seeing this is coming in the very near future. You've got a row of suitors waiting, and you will get to choose. And so they're saying, have faith. It is coming forward. It's practically here. And time is, a whole nother definition to humans and the heart healers, but they are showing, they're all just standing up there, just magnificent and waiting for you, and they are all wanting to be chosen, picked by you. So you have the element of choice coming up, and have confidence in that choice. And whatever choice you make, is not the wrong choice. They're all perfect choices. So even the thing is, do not get stuck in the ability to make the choice. Go ahead and make the choice, because no matter which one you pick, it is the right one, because everything comes together with whatever one you pick. So hopefully that helps.
What I was getting in that, Cynthia, is to have fun with it, to play with it, to really play in that choice point, to really enjoy yourself having that opportunity of choice. And that element of the choice point is something that you can really play with and have fun with. So thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you.
Next one is Casey.
Casey, okay. Tuning in with your permission, Casey. So there's just one heart healer standing strong, and this is significant. I don't know what. So he's wearing all black, and he has a white rose boutonniere. It's just a single white rose, and he's holding a single white rose for you. So the white rose is purity, but there is another meaning to this. I'm recognizing and acknowledging that you know the significance of the white rose, and that is a message coming through for you as reassurance. And yes, you are on the right path. So tell me something. There's an element of music being played. And so it wants you to find that perfect song, and you know what song it is, and just have your heart resonate with that song to the point where that song is playing in your heart, and you know you're right back home in that message and that purity and that exquisite space of being one with the white rose and what it means for you.
Excellent. Kelly is next.
Okay. Tuning in with you with your permission. Yes, they're all standing there with a sign saying yes in capital letters. And so that must mean something for you, must be questioning, but yes. And they're not even saying what the issue is, they're just saying yes. And then somebody says, get on with it already. I apologize. Get on with it already, but yes. And it's coming through that you have this desire to just make sure everything's right, everything's perfect, but they're saying yes, just please, yes, and get on with it. I don't know if that means anything to you. That's all I'm getting. I'd be curious if you have any feedback on that, if they will be willing to divulge. I don't know if it's one of those situations where they're telling you yes, but then you know how sometimes all of us get those ideas and messages that we should do this. And then a month goes by, oh, we should do this. I'm going to do this. And then another month goes by and we still haven't done it. So it's almost like they're teasing you with yes, waiting to see if you'll take the bait or if you'll answer the door, that kind of thing. And then maybe more will come through. So that's what I'm getting for you in this one. It's just yes. And then a very small, get on with it already. Very
Kelly,
blunt.
can you unmute yourself just to answer the question if this resonates with you?
Thank you, Heidi Sue. I'm not exactly sure what they're specifically speaking about.
Okay. So, and that's what they're saying is there's a block within you, and they're just saying yes. So, all right. So let me ask you a couple of questions here. Do you have a childhood friend that he keeps trying to reconnect with you or anything like that, or a past relationship that keeps trying to reconnect with you?
Yes.
Okay.
We go back and forth for about 40 some years. Yes.
Okay. And so now, okay. Excuse me. All right. So what is your current question with the situation? It's like there's something being repetitive and you're tired of this, and is this really going to change? Or what is the paramount need that you have in order for this relationship to be supportive of you?
That's a great question.
In other words, why do you keep this relationship?
I think sometimes it's fulfilling for both of us, but yet maybe not fulfilling enough.
Right. And did you have a thought where the two of you might go and do something different, like a workshop or an activity out in nature or something together that you thought, but I don't want to act because I don't want to completely commit to it? There's an element of, it would be fun to do this activity, but I don't want to be completely vulnerable or in a situation, let's say we're going to take the trip down to the beach for the day or to the ocean for the day, but I don't want to be stuck in the car for 2 hours with this person.
That's actually another relationship.
Okay.
So there's actually several.
Okay.
There's several relationship issues, and maybe that's why this is coming up.
And so the yes is coming up with just go ahead. Okay, heart healers, show me, please show me.
Can I add something into this?
Please, Daniel.
What I'm getting the yes for is yes to you. Putting yourself first, respecting and honoring yourself, respecting and honoring your yes. That's what keeps on coming through. And it's interesting that you mentioned that there's multiple relationships, because it might be that the relationships in your life are mirroring this question to you. But that's what I'm getting from this conversation is yes, yes, yes. Okay, what the hell does this mean? Well, it's related to relationships. Well, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? And what comes back to me every time is the yes is for you to say yes to yourself first with regards to the other relationships. And that's not to say to put yourself first ahead of them or above them, or to be, so focused on yourself and not them, but to recognize your own authenticity within the relationship and to recognize your own yes within the relationship, honoring your yes in the relationship. That's what's coming to me.
And it does not matter which person or which relationship. That's why I keep seeing this yes. And Daniel, you said the perfect word I couldn't think of, mirroring. It all of these relationships mirroring. So, and how did that resonate?
Yeah, all of them have a degree of fulfillment, but that's why there's so many, because they're all at different levels that are very satisfying, but yet not one of them can satisfy all those things. Does that make sense? So I'm getting the enrichment from each individual, but yet it's very compartmentalized. Does that make sense?
That does. Makes perfect sense. It does. And there's something else that's coming forward as you say that, which is something I mentioned to someone else earlier in the season. The yes could also be that the relationships, like you said, and I'm going to paraphrase, there's elements that really work, but they're not complete. The completeness has to come from within yourself. The completeness is the yes to yourself. Your relationship with yourself is the yes. And that completeness can only ever come from within ourselves. Is that helpful?
Yeah, and that's why they're all just very enriching. They're not, I don't need any of them, I guess, is kind of what's kind of weird about it. They're supplementing my life.
So what I'm also seeing, and thank you so much, Daniel. Thank you for helping with the word. So it's one whole heart, but you're compartmentalizing. So you're only showing little pieces of your heart, so nobody sees the whole heart and the the mirror. So the yeses, and now it makes sense why all of the heart healers were yes, yes, yes. And so now it's interesting because it there's an issue, an idea of not showing your whole heart. You're just showing compartmentalized pieces. So taking all of what you love in all of your relationships, what you're satisfied with, but bring it all together into one so that they're all complete. Because even though you have a different experience with each person, we're all from one source.
Right. And that's why it's working, but yeah, I'll have to think about this. Thank you.
So sorry to be extending on this. The idea of compartmentalizing aspects of, I'm going to paraphrase completely, aspects of completeness within different relationships. And what I'm hearing from Heidi's conversation is in bringing it all together to complete the whole heart, and then expressing that whole heart to every individual relationship, even though that individual relationship is only comprising, say, 10% of the whole heart. What you are showing back to them is the completeness of every relationship through you. Does this resonate at all?
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, they're also very unique, and there's things within each of them that I couldn't even go down that road with, a different road with. So that's why I think they're all parsed, parsed and parceled out. Because, for example, one of them wouldn't even have a clue about energy and the kind of conversation that we're having today.
But it's not about the conversation, and it's not about the relationship. It's not about that. It's about your relationship with them, not about the content of the relationship, not about the kind of relationship. But say, for example, I'm going to just use two examples, okay? Heidi is a good friend of mine. Shannon is a good friend of mine, but they don't, neither of them feel complete, but they help together to have a sense of completeness for me. And the invitation that I'm perceiving from this conversation is, okay, so I get something from Heidi Sue that's enriching, and I get something from Shannon Johnson that's enriching. And what I then show back to Heidi Sue is the totality of myself, energetically, not content-wise, but I am whole within myself, and all of my relationships help me to feel that within myself, but they're only a reflection of it. The importance of the conversation is for me to recognize the totality of my heart, of my love space, of my energy, of the truth of who I am, and for me to then energetically allow that to shine for Heidi Sue and for Shannon Johnson.
Oh,
does that make sense?
Yes, now I get it. And that's why they're all a yes.
Yes. But
they're all a yes.
It's not that they're all a yes. It's that you are a yes to all of them.
Yeah.
Do you hear the distinction in that?
I do.
And so, yes, they are all a yes because they help you to recognize the totality of your yes. But then what you are shining back to them is the totality of your yes, regardless of the relationship and the content of the relationship. Is this helpful?
Yeah, yes, I get it now. Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you. And
Very nice.
Sorry for everybody else that kind of, took a little bit while to get there. But again, like we talk about all the time, these messages are for all of us. It isn't just for Kelly, right? Mm-hmm. And so we can all resonate with this idea that we all have multiple relationships that fulfill different aspects of ourselves and of our journey and of our divine playmates. And it's this beautiful reminder to remember that fundamentally it's the light that we shine back to them, and that's where the yes is. And it's looking at ourselves and that totality of ourselves. And so this is for everybody, not just for Kelly. So thank you, Kelly, for your time and for bringing this up.
Oh, thanks to both of you. I really, really appreciate it.
Yes,
All right.
thank you. And thank you so much, Daniel, for bringing that up, because checking in with the heart healers, they're like, yeah, they wanted to be heard in a much bigger way. And your words are just perfect. So thank you so much for that. And it is
Excellent.
for everyone. Yes.
Sally, are you back on? Can you just unmute yourself just to say yes?
Yes, I am.
Excellent. So next one is Sally.
Sally. Okay. So tuning in with you, Sally, with your permission. Okay. So I'm getting a sense of a grieving, a grieving process. Let me tune in a little further here. I'm also seeing feathers for you. There's a pile of feathers, and then there's customary the white feather is coming through for you, but there's other feathers, and there's a grief process, and it's showing. I'm seeing lots of air essence here. So what's coming through is this idea of there's a grief process that's been happening that is taking its course. The time is right. Everyone grieves at a different stage and at a different time. So it's not one is the same. And then there's the element of the white feather is almost like the surrendering and the purity and the essence of being able to start fresh again, a whole new process of starting again. And it's actually showing that you actually will be doing this in this lifetime a couple of times. And it's showing that it's actually you have support and you're being supported in all these processes, and that's coming through. And it does want you to know with reassurance that you are in the right place and you are here at the right time. And this could be that one of those messages that works for everybody, but it's coming back for you as well. Is everything what you're seeing is not what it appears to be. There's more to what you're seeing and experiencing that's happening on multiple levels. So what's coming through is you're actually in a process of healing multiple layers within your timeline and genealogical lines. And it's not going to be easy. It has not been easy, but you have all the strength that you need to complete this. And you are completing this, and it's going at the time it needs to go. So know that you are completely supported and you are in the right place at the right time. And things are progressing as they're supposed to be progressing. There is a little bit of levity and enjoyment in with this, but it feels heavy right now. And that's just a time. So let's see. So that the shift of where we are with the planet essences, and you will find that will start to ease up for you. About 8 months from now is when things will start to ease up for you. Does that resonate?
Some of it very much so. I mean, the grieving, because my dad's got dementia, so he's at the point where he sometimes forgets who I am. So I have had that he's been quite slow. His dementia's been quite slow, his progress. So it has been that kind of long grieving kind of thing for him. So that is really making sense to me. I need to think about what the other things you've said.
So even if the person has dementia and doesn't know you, they know your heart. Yes. The heart is eternal. The heart is infinite. And so even just being there in the space or thinking of that person, that heart connect for an eternity, so they can feel that. On a practical standpoint, I don't know if you are aware of this or if anybody else is aware of this on this call. When people have dementia, the last sense to go is music. So if you can play music that they've known years ago, even that boyhood music, you'll see some interesting reaction to that with dementia. I work in a hospital that has a long-term care unit, and that's what they do for the dementia patients, that they can play on a song and they just come alive. So that's one of the last things to go. So that's still there, but the heart never goes away.
Yeah,
The
thank you for
heart
that.
never goes away.
Yeah.
Okay.
He might forget me, but he knows me. He knows he loves me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heidi. Appreciate
You're
that.
welcome. Yeah, you're welcome.
Sally, I'm getting something with regards to a blend between your dad and your mom, that you can actually use you can play with the grieving that you have gone through and are going through with regards to your mom, and kind of copy and paste it over onto your dad experience as well, and vice versa. There's aspects of your relationship with your dad that you can copy and paste over to your mom. There's a back and forth that you can use one experience to help you with the other. Hopefully this is helpful.
Thank you, Daniel.
Yeah. So Anne-Marie is next in the line, but I'm actually gonna skip you for a moment because I get the feeling that your message is a little bit later on. So I'm not forgetting you, Anne-Marie. I'm just gonna move on and come back to you. So the next one is Heather.
Hi, Heather. Okay, so tuning in with you. So I'm getting a sense of complete running amok, having fun, just in glee on a playground with lots of people, lots of ages on a playground. It's a huge gathering, and you're just running around. There's a lot of joyfulness, glee, and just silliness, just complete silliness. But this is interesting. So you have the ability. Okay, so this is really neat. You're one of these people. Your heart is showing, the heart healers are showing you in action as someone who would be in the middle of chaotic, but everything has a pattern. Everything makes sense to you, and you have a way of energetically rallying and rounding up to make everything clear and everyone lined up. And so taking all of the disparate voices and then bringing them into one unified voice. You have that ability, but sometimes there's this idea of just be one with the chaos and just have fun with it and just go with the flow, and then needing to, okay, I need to rein this back in. We need to be focused here. And this is the one single message we are communicating. This is the one single change we are going to affect. And we're going to follow through with this one change that we will affect. And then we'll start another new one later after the first one is completed. So, but it's really interesting to see you just in that complete wild abandon, just in with the flow, whatever happened. And then, okay, then you just standing there, and then everything just lined up around you to help with your focused energy. You have a very strong way of being focused that sometimes it challenges you, because sometimes you don't want to hold that focus either. So one task to completion all the way through, and then going for there.
Next one is Christine.
Okay, Christine. Okay, Christine, with you, with your permission. Smells. There's honeysuckle honeysuckle is coming through. You have I don't know if you have an overdeveloped olfactory sense or the ability of smelling, but there is just this honeysuckle. It's just sweetness. It's on the vine. You're growing up on the vine and you're projecting. And it's really interesting. So okay, so this is showing me that the heart healers are showing they know you, they see you, but no one else is seeing you. No one else is recognizing that the sweetness, that the uplifting of the space is coming from your presence. It's a quiet presence, but it's a very palpable presence. And so the heart healers want you to know that you are doing as you're meant to be doing. Your purpose has to do with providing that space and presence, and your heart radiates out. It's actually a fragrant heart, like the honeysuckle. So people will smell and notice it and think, wow, that was magnificent, but not know where that smell came from. But it's coming from your beautiful heart space. You are this beautiful one honeysuckle that's more fragrant than all the other honeysuckle within that mass of brambles and leaves and flowers. And so that's coming through for you. And just reassurance, it's okay to not have people notice you, because you're already being noticed on a much more subtle level that is much more profound for people. And that's part of your magic, actually. That's how you were designed. And it's really brilliant, actually, because you can create a huge change without people realizing they want to make the change themselves. Yeah, that's pretty neat. Thank you.
Beautiful. Next one is Shannon.
Hey, Shannon, tuning in with you. So I'm seeing a man and a boy, tuxedo, and both have bow ties on. And then I'm also seeing a penguin. Okay, so there's something about order, formalities. Why a penguin? So they're not taking big strides, they're taking little steps, but they look great. They have the presence, but they're taking little steps to, so there's this element of progression that you're on, and you're on the great path. You're on the right path. It's showing that you're there, but you're taking little steps to get there. And there's nothing wrong with those little steps. It's just recognizing, okay, am I going to be a penguin? Am I going to be the boy? Or am I going to be the man with, the different length of stride? So for each day, consider what type of energy or what type of steps will you take to what it is that you want. So what is it, the energy? What's holding you back? Consider the different things. Is it fear of success? Is it fear of thinking, oh, this is not going to go anywhere? It is going somewhere. And every day has been progression. It's not like you're not doing anything. It's just you've actually been making progress. But consider the steps. Are you going to take penguin steps? Are you going to take little boy steps? Are you going to take tall man steps? And just decide in that moment, when you have a task at hand, which of those steps, which of those progressions you would like to do. And that's what the heart healers are showing me. So perhaps that makes sense for you, I hope. Okay.
So let's go to Anne-Marie.
Okay, Anne-Marie, tuning in with you with your permission. So Anne-Marie, right away, I saw a leafy jungle. And I know you're not Anna Maria, because Anna Maria does the trees as messengers, but you are obviously in tune with nature. And I'm seeing You're in the jungle, these beautiful trees, lush green. And then I see a wooden box, just like a treasure chest box, one of those old chests. And let's see here. So you actually place these treasure chests in different places for people, but you like to use the jungle because you're making it where people have to come find them. And you have a gift of, you love giving gift. That's your gift, is gift giving. So you have an element of surprise that you like to work with, and the element of surprise in of itself is its own energy. And it loved working with you. It's a positive, it's a delightful kind of surprise. I am reminded of the saying where in some business circles it says, you know, there's no surprises or good surprises. And let's flip that. So you have the ability with your heart space to create the element of surprise, but sometimes you encounter people who don't want to take the initiative to go in the jungle. They don't want to open up the trunk. They don't want to, so they have a hard time receiving around you. So you, as a natural gift giver, as your gift, may be challenged by people who are unwilling to receive. So let's see, how is that heart healer? And so that's your platform, that's your story. So your message is to let people know in your way the whole idea of, if you don't receive a gift, you're actually rejecting the other person. So there's an issue of, you know, when we get, for example, let's say we have someone we want to feed, or an animal we want to feed, whether it's a dog, cat, bird, or fish, or a child, and we're giving them food and they push it away or they walk away from it. There's an element of rejection within us. We're giving, we're providing life nourishing moment, and this person is rejecting it from us. Wow, that can be kind of challenging in us. And so that's what's interesting, Anne Marie, you have that gift of helping people receive. I don't know how you do that. That's the beauty of it. And like Daniel said for someone else earlier, just have fun with it, play with it. But that's your message, that's your purpose. Your heart is so giving that it doesn't understand, why won't people receive this? And you make it a game almost. So yeah.
There's an element here of, I go back to this again, which is something I mentioned earlier to people in the season. It's about going within. The same thing that we're talking about earlier about the aspects of the relationships with the heart. It's the same kind of idea. The gift of being a gift giver and the experience of that gift not being received, and how that resonates with your experience, will shift when you use your gift of gift giving and you focus on yourself first. As a gift giver, give yourself the gift. And so the feeling of not being recognized is first and foremost coming from the fact that you are not receiving your own gifts. And then you're feeling that in other relationships. So when you allow yourself to feel the gift that you are and the gifts that you give yourself, and you really lean into those, then you're able to then give from that space. And whether it's received or isn't received, you can feel that it's received at a different level because you are whole and complete within yourself, giving from that space. Hopefully that's helpful. Heart healers, is there anything else that you would like to clarify about what I shared or anything?
So yes, right along with what you're saying, Daniel, there's the whole idea of, you know, you have to give to yourself. You have to come from a place of fulfillment. You know, your cup is full, and then you share out, you share from the overflow. And okay, so it actually wants me to do, so thank you for this, Daniel. So this segues into a little something that we're going to do for all of us to help with our heart containers. Because when we give from a gift of overflow, that's magnificent. But what if we have a little pinhole in our heart container so we keep leaking and so we never get the goodness filling up and then overflowing? So I would love for you all to take a moment and once again, just settle in, take a nice deep breath in, pausing for a moment, exhaling as deep as you possibly can. And imagine you are being held. So imagine that you are sitting. So Anna Maria Vasquez in the last session talked about a sit stone, where you sit on a stone and your tailbone is connected to that sit stone. I want you to imagine your tailbone connected to the center of the earth, Gaia, and it's the heart center. So you are sitting on a heart stone. Okay. And so now the heart healers, I would love for you all to just lay your hand at your side if you can, and just keep breathing through your heart as if your heart is its own organ. It has its own set of lungs. So just keep breathing normally through your heart space. And just take this moment of silence. The heart healers will come in into each one and check and smooth so that any tears, holes, or repairs are smoothed over. To just keep breathing. It'll be silent, but you may or may feel something in your heart space. Just keep breathing normally. Okay, now take another deep breath in and then let it all out. Fill in your heart space with that divine, loving, unconditional love. The beautiful pillar of divine, unconditional love conduit is coming from above, coming down through you, through your head, through your crown, come through your heart space, come through the surface you're sitting on into infinity. A second beam is coming from one side of you, coming into you, connecting with your first beam at your heart convergence point, continues on out the other side, on into infinity. And now the third golden beam grid grace light, filled with the essences of divine unconditional love and pure brilliance of unity, clarity, reassurance, coming from in front of you, coming in you, connecting with the two beams at your heart convergence point, continues on through you, out the back of you, on into infinity. And now paying attention to your heart convergence point, the center of your heart, where all three beams intersect. There's a light there. That's your light. And everyone's light lights up, connecting as above, so below. And now imagine that heart essence light coming out all of your pores, out of your ears, and out of your eyes, and coming out of your mouth with the word that you speak, out of your ears with the sound you hear, pure unconditional love. And now, when you're ready, go ahead and open up your eyes, those beautiful eyes of yours, and you see everything through the eyes of love. And it is an honor being here in this moment to share this brilliance with you, this radiant of eternal heart's love. Okay. The heart healers will continue to work through you and use your love and your heart space as you move forward, and it'll be coming through the being for you. So we'll leave that up and running for you. So any others?
Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Heidi Sue, how are you with time? Can we keep on going? Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, keep on going.
You know that you and I tend to go long. I'm glad that you plan for it. So Shirley is next.
Okay. With you, with permission. So this is interesting. We just did that session, and now what I'm seeing, I'm actually seeing you playing the violin. I don't know if you actually do in this lifetime, but you have the heartstring and you're playing the violin that I just want to copy you. It is so beautiful. So you have the melody, so you have heart music. I'm curious if you are a musician, but for some reason, the violin is coming through very strong. There's a connection with the violin, with the wood patina, and the strings are so delicate that you have a high vibrational essence of melody. And that's coming through for you. There's an idea of lesson, but they're easy lesson for you because it comes easy for you. It's almost like what's coming through it is showing me that you have the gift, but there's a little bit of low confidence where you feel you have to work at it so hard. It can't come easy. Nothing comes easy. There has to be an element of struggle with it. But you have the gift. It's so easy for you when you're in the flow. There's this idea of making it harder for yourself. And so I invite you to just let that story go. Let that whole idea, it does not come easy because it does. And you have that gift. And it's open for you, and it's just like music, just flowing harmoniously. So if you feel like things are getting challenging, just pretending to play the violin, just pretend. Maybe we can all just play, join you in this orchestra, and just know how easy those heart notes are coming through, the melody, the heart sound are just coming through so beautifully. It is that easy. Love is easy. Love is effortless.
It reminds me of something that I read not too long ago that talked about how as long as we believe that we're here to receive lessons, we're going to continue experiencing lessons. And as long as we believe that we're here to be tested, we're going to continue to experience being tested. And we are able to choose a different experience. Beautiful reminder. Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful.
Pamela is next.
Okay. And with you. Listen. Oh, interesting. So I see rocks and then it's a gerbera daisy. It's a bright fuchsia daisy, but it's a gerbera daisy just standing and growing out of rocks. and it's magnificent. It just, the contrast is what really brilliant about this. It's these huge gray rocks, and then this flower that just seems like nothing would grow of it, but there it is right there, that gerbera daisy. And it's vibrant, it's bright, it's brilliant, it's exquisite, it's unique. And that part of your gift is the uniqueness. So the heart healers are showing that you have a unique perspective. So you've got a situation where people are wanting you to conform, or you're feeling like you need to conform, and no, the uniqueness is the gift. The uniqueness is the healing, the willingness to stand. And they say bloom where you're planted, and it's amazing. I mean, you could just see these rocks, it's huge boulders, gray boulders, and here's this beautiful flower standing tall. So you actually have beauty, even though the structure is so hard and unyielding. It's not permanent where you can't grow. You are growing in that. And so that's what's saying keep that strength and use that strength in the situation you're in to bloom, and don't be like everyone else. Don't feel like they have to be like you. Don't give in where they're wanting you to conform. Your uniqueness is absolutely brilliant. I wish I could paint this. I mean, the vividness of the picture is just absolutely gorgeous. And I hope you always keep that bright fuchsia color in mind, because you are that beautiful gerbera daisy. Pretty cool.
Barb is next.
Okay. Barb. Turning in with you. So it's interesting, there's overlap with a lot of people, and then there's some uniqueness, and then sometimes, the same person might get different readings, those kind of things. I'm seeing water with you, Barb. I'm seeing the ocean, and way out in the middle of the ocean is this flow of water. That's all I'm seeing. There's no idea how deep or anything. It's just a flow of water on the surface. The sun is rippling on it. So what is coming through for that image for you is floating and taking time. So the essence is taking time for yourself and just float with what all the busyness that's happening, just floating above it. But within that, check in with yourself, and then go ahead and submerge into the water. If you need to take a salt bath, actually, if you put onion peels in the bathtub in bath water, it helps lighten the mood. So, I mean, people talk about salt bath to detoxify. Onion peel, I'm sorry, not onion. Did I say onion? I meant to say oranges. Orange peel. Wow, that would be a one heck of a bath of having onion peels, wouldn't it? Orange peels in the bathtub will actually help lighten the mood. So for you, it's this essence of just floating and taking time and acknowledging time is on your side. Time is supporting you. There's this idea, I have to get everything done. No. Or I'm missing out, I have to do it now. No. For your particular situation in this moment, it's just floating with it, and then submerge yourself to detoxify yourself, come back into alignment, come back within yourself. You're made up of water, so coming back within you, and then just floating on. This will soon pass, but it is a period of time for you to just float above everything that's going on for you. Try not to get caught up in it. Just float on the surface with it. Just go with the flow is what is coming through. Right, healers? Yeah, go with the flow. Okay.
Thank you for that. And so, Casey, can you unmute yourself? Casey has a question with regards to getting more clarity on what came forward for her.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
thank you.
Casey, go ahead and unmute yourself and
Yes. Hi,
and
I'm sorry. I may be the only one,
no, go ahead,
but I'm
please.
kind of confused. Said a white rose and also a special song. I love roses. I do like white, but I usually think of red with roses, so I'm not sure about the significance of the white, unless it's connected to certain people. And also
So
confused about the song.
right away, I saw that person. It's a man, a very tall man in a tuxedo, all black. I mean, even the shirt black. Normally, men have a white, black and white. It's all black and
Mm.
has a white rose boutonniere and is holding a white rose for you. Okay. So, heart healers, can we have a little more clarity, please? And thank you for asking, because they like to have dialogue too.
Mhm.
And I only know small pieces of my, so, okay. So this is a guardian coming through for you. It is someone you knew, but it's someone on the other side. And it's just, they're quiet. It's a present. Do you, okay, close your eyes, please, for me. Do you feel a presence of someone supporting you, that when you just are so tired, you feel a person, a present, it's a reassuring presence, and it's someone you knew, but maybe not intimately? Maybe like a grandfatherly type.
Well,
What they're doing, no? Okay.
no, I was
That's
going to
enough.
say I was close to one of my grandparents, not
Okay.
that close to the other grandfather, actually.
So what he's doing now is coming forward and putting a rose within your heart space.
Mm.
So just keep breathing through your heart space. So they're letting you know that they are here for you. They're always here. They've always been here for you. And you can call on them anytime. They would love for you to call on them. And that's what's so brilliant about you raising your hand and wanting to be coming back live. The heart healers like to have that interaction. This one does as well. And you can call forth this one. You might see images of white rose, or just imagine, the white rose. That's the calling card of this person for you. And this person will have significant support for you coming up, always had significant support for you. And there's a love there for you. And it's okay if you didn't know them in this lifetime. Taking the time to tune in, to check in with this person will be very supportive for you. Daniel, are you picking up anything with this one?
There's a vibrational element with this individual that you can recognize, not necessarily as a human relationship in this life, but as a energetic companion that's traveled with you throughout the life. So the invitation is for you to take a moment and envision the rose, the flower in your heart space, and feel into for the vibration of what is being shared with you. And you will be able to recognize and remember that sensation, that feeling, that vibration at other times in your life. You might have strong enough memories where it can bring you back into that space, but know and trust that, sorry, the message now then became them speaking. So I'm going to change the tone of, I'm going to change the reference point and allow what was coming through to continue. So recognize, let me reconnect with this energy. Allow yourself to feel into the rose that I am placing in your heart. Feel into my vibration, feel into my sensation. This is a message that extends to everybody in the group as well, because you each have an aspect that is similar to me in your lifetime. But going back to this individual conversation, feel the vibration of the heart that I am placing in your voice. Memories of this feeling may come back to you if they haven't already, but know and trust that I have always been with you. Know and trust that I have always been by your side. There is nowhere that you have gone and nowhere that you can go that will prevent me from being with you and by you. Recognize and realize that as you are now aware of my existence, you will be able to recognize me and ask for my assistance more consciously and more effortlessly going forward. Remember that there is no time and space. And so as you are now aware of me in this moment, it also makes it easier for you to ask for me in your past selves, which is part of the reason that I am bringing this up, in the sense that I have always been with you and you have always been aware of me. Your conscious recognition of me in this moment only makes that even stronger. It allows your past selves to recognize me more easily and more effectively, even if in your conscious timeline you may not remember that. I am always here, have always been. I love you. I will always be with you, now and forevermore. So that's what I got.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
That's
And I
perfect.
feel it. I feel the energy. I imagine the rose and it's expanding and it's a very loving, soothing energy. Thank you.
One of the things that the energies that play through me like to emphasize a lot through me is this aspect of recognizing the vibrational signature of the energies that we play with and that play with us.
Mm.
There's a lot of power and strength in our conscious recognition of their vibration, of the way that we perceive them and sense them and experience them. And that allows us to connect with them more easily and more effectively, and allows them to assist us and help us more easily and more effectively, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that vibrational recognition is something that I'm always going to talk about myself, but it's also interesting that energies also tend to relay that message a lot when they're speaking through me. So you say that you can feel it, lean into it. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and invite everybody that's listening, Heidi Sue as well, just close your eyes and just imagine a symbol, whatever symbol might be appropriate for you at this time. The symbol being placed in your heart. The symbol is a representation of the truth of who you are and of the connection that you have with yourself and your spirit team. Allow this symbol to share with you a vibrational recognition, a sensation that you can feel into within your awareness. And you always will have the visual reference that you can use if you ever want to consciously connect with us. If you ever want to connect with us or communicate with us, know that we are always listening. We are always hearing you. Allow this symbol to be a gateway or a portal or a path for you to initiate communication and conversation with us, knowing that we will always hear you and we will always respond, even if you are in a position where you cannot hear us, at least not consciously. Know and have faith that we are with you and we are answering your call. We may answer in a different way, in a different pattern or sensation or experience that may be completely unrelated to the question, but know that you are being heard. the symbol and this vibrational sensation is one that you can always fall into, lean into, expand into, allow yourself into, breathe yourself into, live yourself into. You are always, always accompanied. You are never alone. Whenever you're ready, just allow yourself to come back. Just open your eyes softly and gently. Casey, are we good?
Yes, yes. Thank you. That
Excellent.
was beautiful. Both of you feel much better now, and it makes more sense.
Excellent.
I
Mary
have
Beth?
somebody to connect with. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you,
Hold-
Daniel. I'll be quick. I know
Hold
it's
on a
getting
second,
late.
Mary Beth. Give me just one
Sure.
moment.
Sure.
Casey, as you allow yourself to feel into that emotion, that sensation, that experience of being connected to this individual as a representation of your higher self, your team, whatever language you want to use, you can also ask them for a name. And the name doesn't have to be specific. It doesn't have to be exact, but they can and they will present you with a name, even if it's temporary, for you to be able to use language to refer to them as well, if that's something that feels comfortable for you. And once again, this is an invitation for anybody and everybody that this is something you can do with your team members as well. Go ahead, Mary Beth.
Thank you. This is either for Daniel, you, or for Heidi Sue. I've been literally having a vibration, a feeling of a vibration. I've been feeling a vibration in my ear, my right ear, and I can hear it and I can feel it. It's been going on for a couple of weeks. It's on and off. So I was just wondering if either of you had any insight as to what that might be related to.
I'm just getting a structural, it's so easy for us to say, oh, well, the right side, it means this, it means that. No, but I'm actually being shown a precipitating event for you. You said it just started happening a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
So the heart healers are they're actually just showing me a large drum set, and it's just like a precipitating event that might be at this point. It's not showing that it means something. It's not showing, sometimes we think it's a high vibrational essence trying to talk with us. I'm not getting that sense in this moment. I'm checking in again. Yeah, they're just showing, in fact, one is showing me, he's standing there with a stethoscope. So that might be something to have physically checked.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's what's coming through. Daniel, are you getting anything?
I have noticed in my experience, and I can't tell you how long this has been going on, but it's been for at least a few months. There's times when I'm listening to a recording, and for whatever the reason, I feel this kind of clicking and ticking in my left ear as I'm hearing the sound. There's an element of what it feels like to me is that my vibration is more expansive in those moments. And it's the beginning of my clairaudience, which is the clair hearing,
Mm-hmm.
starting to get kind of turned on within me.
Mm-hmm.
That's my experience within myself, within my journey. And this feeling, it's a physical, I can literally feel it clicking in my head. I can feel it clicking in my ear. I hear it and I feel it. It's a tangible experience.
That's how mine is. It's very tangible. It's like a the singing bowl vibration. It's like literally, it's not a clicking or it's not tinnitus. It's like a singing bowl. It's like literally a vibration, like a hum vibration.
There's obviously there's the element, of
The
course,
physical, yeah. Mm-hmm.
There's obviously the element of, we are not doctors. We are not
Right.
giving medical advice in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So follow your wisdom on whether or not you want to get that, looked at by someone to just make sure that everything is how it should be.
Yeah.
There's an element where, again, listen into your own wisdom and trust in your process and trust in your wisdom. I recently was told, and again, it hasn't worked for me, but the message that I was given was, I can help to develop my clair hearing, my clairsentience, clairaudience,
Yeah.
my clairaudience. I used sentience before. So this is why I like the simple words, not the confusing ones. So clair hearing, I was told I have ringing in my ear that I've had most of my life. And there's times when it's been stronger than others. And it's been pretty constant since I started exploring this space a few years ago. And I was told that I can lean into that sound in order to use that vibration, which is a higher vibration that I'm already hearing, and lean into that in order to help develop my clair hearing. Now, I don't know if this resonates with you, but this is my experience of experiencing something funky in my ear and in my hearing. It could also be that this is a tone that your body is asking you for. And so you might want to play with, I don't know how you would do this, but you might want to play with different tones.
Like the singing bowl.
See if you can find one that has that same kind of tone. I'm not, a friend of mine is pitch perfect, and he can tell you, oh, this tone is buh. But if you can find something on the website where it will play different tones of different hertz frequencies, maybe you can kind of go through them and see, oh yeah, this one resonates with me. This one feels like this is might not be exact, but it might be similar enough where it goes, yes, this is the one. And then play that for a while and see how that shifts your experience a bit.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was just a physical thing, and then the other day I thought, well, maybe it is like something is trying to come through. And then I mentioned to my friend, and she said, "Are you getting a message?" So that's just was wondering what you guys thought. But I like that idea of listening.
I like that idea also, but to take it a step further, is it binaural? Is that the word, where you have a headset on and then you only have the sound in the one ear and then the sound in the other ear? So that might be something to try as well.
So going back to what we were talking about with Ana Maria Vasquez, because you already have that vibration in your head, you can lean into that, and you don't need to listen to it externally. It was just an idea of kind of supporting it with an external source as well. But you can also lean into it. And, again, similar to what, traditional psychology would say, ask it a question. What message do you have for me? And then just wait and listen and see what comes. And something may come and nothing may come. And they're both perfectly okay. Right. But you can also ask it, why are you here? I get really fascinated when I do these seasons because my body reacts differently every season. I've been getting some pains in the back of my left knee that I've never had in my entire life, that started as the season started. And, I don't give it much thought. I know my body. I can feel into my body. I can sense the needs of my body, and it isn't something that I need to worry about. But what I do when I get tingles and things and kind of twinges in my body is I allow the energy that is flowing through me from top to bottom and flowing through me from bottom to top to be almost like a water wash, to use that energy to work through whatever is getting caught up in my energy field, which is causing my body to react with a sensation of, oh, hey, pay attention to me here. There's something going on here. And more often than not, for me, this is an area where the energy is getting held up. And so I use the energy flow almost like a river, and like, just slowly kind of, washing away a sand ball with the water just rushing through it will just slowly kind of wash that away. And then the little pieces of sand will eventually just disappear because the water flushed it away. And so this is what I use in my own imagination and in my body to feel like when I get a twinge in my ankle because I hurt my ankle a few years ago and I'm still healing from it, or I get tightness in the back of my leg, which again is related to an injury that I had, a number of years ago. I don't always feel the pain, but there's times when I do. And when I do, this is what I do, is I just I consciously allow the energy to flow through it easily, constantly, both up and down, this constant flow between earth and sky, which I am already a conduit of. And I'm just taking advantage of that flow. And this is a divine energy. This is a divine flow. Again, symbolism in the language behind it on purpose for my human to accept more easily that this is a divine flow of energy. And if you're familiar with Reiki healing, you can recognize that it's the same. Reiki healing is using the energy of source for healing purposes. And so you can play with that as well. And so whatever modality you're familiar with or comfortable with, you can kind of play into this idea of just allowing the flow of energy to go through. And there's also an element where we as humans, and this is what I was talking about earlier. Sorry, Heidi Sue.
No, that's perfect.
The other thing that I play with is this idea that we have been taught in our upbringing that when we have a pain in our body, that's a problem and that's an issue. And then we focus on the pain. And as we focus on that pain, we give that pain more energy. It's not to say to ignore the pain, because that's not what I'm implying at all. But there's an element where I recognize that these discomforts, as energy is flowing through, the pain subsides. I no longer feel the pain. And so I know that, okay, this isn't anything serious. My body isn't in harm. It's not in harm's way. So again, I'm using my internal source constantly. Am I okay? Do I need to get this checked? Or is this just an energy block that's revealing itself to me? But the other side of this equation for me, and this is my journey, is that I'm also recognizing that I'm redefining my relationship with my body. I am not envisioning my body as degenerating over age. I'm no longer envisioning my body as needing to go into illness in order to learn lessons or test me. I am aligning with the fact that my body has innate well-being and innate health as its blueprint, and it is always looking to go back to that state. And so I'm allowing that aspect to be the driver of my communication. And so when I get tingles and twinges in my body is telling me, oh, there's an upgrade. Something's going on. Pay attention to me. Give me some more energy. Give me some more love. Something's going on here. I need a little bit of your conscious awareness. Oh, okay, beautiful. There's that energy. That's what I needed. Cool. All right, I'm going to go away now. And so this is my experience with my little tingles and twinges. And I'm 100% certain and sure of the fact that my body at some point, as I continue to expand my awareness, will be functioning at 100% well-being, without any tingles, without any twinges, without any deficiencies within my physical form. And so this is the direction that I'm pointing myself in. Am I there yet? Not yet. But this is the intention that I have for myself, always with respect of, do I need to go get something checked? I had a very uncomfortable itch in my body that was persistent, and I couldn't seem to get it sorted out. And so I made an appointment to see a doctor. And within the time that this was happening, something shifted in what I was doing. And I got the information of, oh, you were reacting to something that could potentially have been out of date. And there's some ingredient in that over the 3 years or 4 years that it's out of date was reacting to your body in a way that your body wasn't happy with. And so now this itch has gone away. I still have the appointment set for later this month. So I'm not saying don't use medicine, but start to kind of play into, how can I play with this energetically? How can I lean into, I am the energy of all that is. What can I not do? And we are all in the process of learning, redefining ourselves into that awareness. You are the energy of all that is. When you play from that space, your body is fully healed. Your body is fully aligned with health, because that's its default nature, as is our default nature, psychologically, emotionally, energetically, spiritually, and physically. Right?
And sometimes, thank you. I like that idea, Daniel, of checking in, and those techniques, very valuable, because you become more aware of those messages. But sometimes it could even be at a place, you made an appointment, but on your way to that doctor's appointment, you encounter a relationship that's life-changing. Or you are there for someone, you gave someone a smile, and that person decided, oh, okay, I'm of value, or decided not to do rash action. So sometimes we're being pulled to go places. And so it might be just a simple thing. I'm still seeing it's just a drummer physical, but I love what Daniel said. Could tune in, and you probably are already upgrading, up leveling the vibrational. I get them too. Sometimes I wake up in the morning with this loud voice in my head. It's like, where did that come from? So yes, but if it's persistent, maybe even if it's just the act of making that appointment, like Daniel said, I made the appointment. It's been persistent. It's been nagging. It hadn't been answering my question. And it could just resolve because you made the appointment, or because in your journey going to the appointment, you alter someone else's life along the way in a very positive way.
Or like Heidi Sue said, it can also be that, your life will be altered because in this action, something happens along the way that awakens something in you. And so we're the conduit of the universe. Always. We are the conduit of source energy. Always. And so the invitation from spirit all the time is, nothing happens to you, everything happens for you.
Yeah.
Right. And so again, this is one of those things that, well, what the hell does that mean for me in my day-to-day life? Right. It's like, yeah, it's great to hear, but make it real. And so there's this element of, okay, well, if it's happening for me, what is it that this is trying to get me to recognize? And it's not that, again, it's not from a perspective of, I still haven't learned something. What is this pointing at that I'm broken? This is not what I'm pointing at, because I regularly talk about how none of us are ever broken. And the only feeling that we have of feeling broken is the perception that we are separate from ourselves, and that we're separate from the truth of who we are, and that we're separate from our divine, infinite well-being. So, but the invitation is still, okay, well, if I'm feeling this, if I'm experiencing this, what is this trying to tell me? Oh, you've got to, you're wiping your ass with a wipe that might be out of date, just to be graphic. Okay. All right. So what is this trying to tell me? Well, you're using something that your body isn't liking. Right.
Yeah, those are all really wonderful thoughts and suggestions. And I really appreciate both of you so much, and it's just great. And it really resonates with me though that I don't think I have been checking in enough, like on behalf of myself. Even, and I can't remember if it was this session or the last session, but Daniel, you just talk about making things so simple and letting the crystals or whatever do the clearing for you, but just having that energetic ritual, or the grounding staff. I don't think I've been. The biggest thing I've gotten out of the last 2 calls is just I haven't been paying enough attention to listening. Yeah.
Let me share something with you that came to me during the call today with Heidi Sue. I have a silver coin with the image of, I don't think I can get it, I think the reflection is going to be, of a tree of life.
Yeah, can see it.
I got this because I want to shift my relationship with money. And so I got this as the equivalent of tiger eye and hematite, which is my stone, so that I can fiddle with it, play with it during a call, and so that I develop a collaboration with the energy of money, which is represented as a silver coin. Now, I eventually want to have a golden coin and a platinum coin, but at the moment, silver coin it is. But within this coin, the tree of life, what's been really interesting for me is during this call, what I've been seeing is that the tree of life is upside down. Now, I regularly talk about how for us to expand spiritually, we need to expand in our human experience first. The tree of life that we are expanding into can only grow as tall and as strong and as high as our root structure allows. And so the tree of life, which in the image is bigger on top and smaller on the bottom, today during this call, it's been telling me constantly to put it upside down in my vision, which means that we are more rooted, or we need to allow ourselves to root ourselves more downward into earth, into our humanity, appreciating and respecting our bodies, because our bodies are the ones that are taking us into a spiritual experience within this human form. We are not going into spirit, because if we were going into spirit, we would transition right now. Right now on this call, if what I wanted to do was play in spirit, I would literally just transition in this moment, because I'm not playing in physical form anymore. I want to play in spirit. So while we are in human form, we need to respect and appreciate and allow ourselves to deepen our appreciation and our grounding in our humanity, so that we can extend higher into our spiritual nature as humans. This respect of the body, the communication of the body. I am lazy as shit. My team, I said to my team, you guys are responsible for managing my chakras. I'm done, right? But then what happens? I am also well enough aware of my own communication within myself, where on occasions I'm like, ooh, how are my chakras doing? And I'm beginning to feel, and it's really, I'm not a feeling person, so it's not like a physical sensation, but it's a knowing for me. I can sense the energy going up my body as I scan and just kind of check in on my field and say, how we doing? And then I connect into that. And I connect into that when I'm prompted to connect into it, because again, I give my higher self or my team, whatever, I give them the instruction. If I need to be consciously aware of this, please remind me. And so I'm reminded, and I listen for that. My plant next to me tells me when it wants to be watered. And again, it's knowing. It's not that I hear her voice. It's not that I feel her message. It's just a knowing where I just go, oh, I haven't watered you in a while. You want to get watered? And then I get a feeling of yes or no. It's like, yes, but not today. You don't need to worry about it today, but remember tomorrow. And this is a knowing that I get. So though I am lazy, I'm also in good communication with my body. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Hmm.
And it's that respect and that appreciation, the synergy between humanity and spirituality while in physical form, is something that allows us to expand. You know, one of the quotes that I have on my list of quotes that I want to make public is that when we begin the spiritual journey, it's when we remember that we are spirit first and human second. But while we are on that spiritual journey, we recognize that we are human first and spirit second, because being human is spiritual. And so as we wake up, as we awaken to the truth of who we are, which is we are spirit. But as we develop and expand within our journey of awakening within this human form, we learn that we cannot grow spiritually without our human roots. And so we start to recognize and appreciate and recognize that it's the human roots that allow us to do all of the amazing things that we want to do as humans, which are all spiritually focused through our amazing human body.
Such great reminders. Thank you.
Welcome. Anybody else? Anybody have any questions or comments? I know that we've gone quite long, so thank you guys for hanging out with us. So Heidi Sue, there's a lot of beautiful messages for you in the chat. I'll send you the chat afterwards so you can read them later.
Thank you.
But a lot of them are things that are just kind of confirming and appreciating the messages that came through. So thank you guys all for hanging out.
So I will do a series, a couple of rounds of heart healing, forgiveness prayers for everyone on this call and those who listen to the replay. So that'll be continuing on while you're sleeping.
Beautiful. Thank you. It's very kind.
Yep.
Anne-Marie, go ahead.
Hey, I just want to say real quick, this has been fantastic, but also I appreciate so much, Daniel, you giving a shout out for the human and the body, because I think it's so many well, I don't know how many communities, but I know in my background as a lifelong, born, raised Catholic, the body and the human just it's looked at as not as holy and wonderful as spirit. And, so thank you for giving that shout out to our humans and how important our human bodies are. And just thank you for this wonderful time. Thank you for, feel so privileged and honored to get to know you, little Heidi Sue. I'm a fellow healthcare practitioner, and this has been just amazing. It's been wonderful. And your reading for me was very resonant. Very resonant. So thanks for talking for the human.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm a big proponent of our beautiful humans. Anything that I've ever shared is always in respect of the human. And years ago, I stopped referring to our ego because I felt that people were mistreating our human experience by referencing the ego in negative ways, because the ego is nothing more than our human personality.
Yep. Yeah, I've come to a place just in my own life where I'm like, I want to really have an amazing 3D life. I want all the spiritual stuff, but I want to dive deep into like a life of fun and pleasure in this human body. So along with all the other goodie stuff.
Yeah.
So thank you.
And the other term that kind of catches me is when people refer to our body as a pain body. I find that so disrespectful. I find that so disrespectful. And so that always catches me whenever spiritual teachers are talking about our pain body. I'm like, dude, you're missing the point.
Yeah, no.
You're missing the point if you're referring to your human experience as a pain body, because that's not what I want to create.
Nope. No, I'm looking towards the pleasure, sensual, just wonderfully blissful body. That's what I'm looking towards.
Yeah. So thank you guys.
That's spiritual people who say that? They talk
Yeah, I
about
was going to say, I've never heard that, and I don't
Yeah.
want to hear that.
Yeah, there's a number of gurus and spiritual guides and teachers that refer to our human experience as our pain body, and that we need to transcend our pain body and go beyond our pain body and stuff like that.
Just
So,
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you.
Heidi Sue, anything else that your team would like to share with us before we bring this to a close?
Okay, heart healers, anything else? So thank you. Thank you. This was fun. Let's do it again. Okay. And go forth looking through the eyes of love. There's this whole idea of putting the eyes on your heart in your daily interaction. And that's a reminder for me as well. So I will be putting eyes on my heart as I go through my daily interactions here on forward. And I wish you all beautiful blessings of love, unconditional love, and you matter. I see you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And so if you align with Heidi Sue and you want to work with her, please reach out to her. As always, on the CSVS website, the special invitation, there's a description there of working with Heidi with a special rate for a realignment session, a divine heart realignment session, with her email address there, which is heartspaceexplorer@gmail.com. And she also has a Facebook page, HeartSpace Explorer, within Facebook. So you can just do a search for her as well there. So thank you guys for being here. Hopefully we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow we have, tomorrow's the last day, isn't it? This is day 3. Day 4 tomorrow with Renee and Anthony, who are going to channel Yeshua and Mary Magdalene. Marina Galan, who is going to, I don't know what we're going to talk about, but I'm sure we're going to talk about the 3 principles and its relationship with spiritual expansion. But we'll see what comes forward. And then Shannon Johnson is going to finish us off. And for those of you that are online, and I need to send this out, and I missed the window, so I'll send another email out to the group. I didn't channel during my session earlier this season, so I'm going to do channeling in the closing ceremony. So I channeled today for you guys a little bit, but I didn't have time to channel for the group, so I'm going to do that in the closing ceremony. So thank you guys for being here. I will leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love. Thank you all for watching, regardless of whether you're here live or in the recording. And I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye. Thank you for being part of this incredible experience. We hope that this session has inspired a new level of understanding within you, allowing you to expand more easily into the essence of your true self and become an even more powerful alchemist in your own life. We invite you to listen to the session again and again in order to go deeper each time and expand even more. Have it be via the replays or the unlimited access package. If you have enjoyed being part of this event, we invite you to tell your friends so that they can join us in the future. We are grateful that you are here, and we thank you for co-creating this experience with us. Until next time, we leave you with being spirit, being human, and simply being from love.